or many of them transitioning from one job to another, many of them transitioning from one career to another. Based on Gallup survey, 80% of working professionals want to do something else than what they are doing already. So there is so much of churn. There is so much of churn in the mind. There's so much of churn in the job market. And in this video, I'm going to share 3 skills to easily transition into new career. So if you're watching this, if you have ever thought of transitioning into a new career, this video is for you. Watch it till the end. I have myself transitioned at least 6 times in my entire career. I have transitioned from one industry to a completely new industry, one role to a completely new role. In fact, I received a call once from a friend of mine who knew me long back, and he moved to US, and suddenly he saw my profile on LinkedIn and said, Rajat, you've completely transitioned into a new role. How is that? Right? So I'm going to share with you some powerful strategies and 3 skills that can help you to easily transition into new career. Feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to share your own experience if you have used certain strategies to move from one industry, from one role to another, and that could be helpful for many, many more. All right, so let's get started. In this live, I want to talk to you and share with you. Let me see if I can share my screen with you right away so that you can also see some of the content that I have with me. All right, so um, yeah, I think sharing a screen, and now I can share the screen as you can see already. Hopefully this will make it visible for you. So 3 skills to easily transition into a new career. Number one is business understanding. Business understanding. If you specifically, I want to talk to people who want to, let's say, move from banking to e-commerce, from probably something which is back end to front end roles, from non-customer experience roles to customer experience roles. Very key is to understand the business of that domain. So if you want to move from banking to e-commerce, then how is it similar and how is it different? What are the nuances of that business? How does the whole value chain work? What is an e-commerce company? What are its tenants? How do they make profit? How do they grow? What is their purpose? Especially if you are targeting certain companies, then it will help you to do research around that organization. What are their values? What is the purpose of that organization? For example, Amazon's vision is to be Earth's most customer centric company, and Amazon has also got certain values that they expect from their employees. So is there an alignment between what you want to achieve in life and what this organization, an e-commerce company, is all about? Then growth. How is it that these businesses grow? What is their model? How do they bring revenue? How do they bring customers? And how do they make profit? A deeper understanding of their entire business model will be super, super helpful. And not just limiting yourself to that, but you can also go ahead and find out how some of the other businesses which are doing well do extremely well. In one of my master classes, I had the opportunity to work with someone who is working with Amazon, and he had that vision to actually even contribute more through innovation practices with Amazon. So he wanted to introduce. That's the reason he joined my program, to learn some of the best practices and share that within Amazon. So what are the best practices that you've seen in the other industries? If you want to get into e-commerce, what are the other best practices that are done in order to grow the business, in order to make it profitable, in order to bring in revenue and new customers? Specifically, I'm emphasizing more on profitability, growth, and customer acquisition and customer retention. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is, any guesses? What could I have here? The number two thing is customer understanding. Yes, what kind of personas this business is serving, whom are they serving, who are their ideal customer, what are the aspirations, the needs of these customers, what are their emotional states, what do they want to become, what do they want to achieve. The more and more understanding you have about the customer of a certain business, again, if you're moving from banking to e-commerce, banking would have a certain profiles of their customers, and e-commerce could have slightly different profiles. They may have very varied profile depending on which kind of e-commerce company you're targeting. They may have unique. So is it for the teenager fashion brand, is it for everything store like Amazon, or is it a cosmetic store, online store, or does it sell apparels, shoes? Understanding the needs, aspirations, and emotions of those customers. For example, Nike has a good online presence. So Nike has its own um, personas who buy from Nike, Adidas, some of these. So almost all fashion stores have their online presence. Many of the cosmetic brands have their online presence. Many of the apparels have their online presence. So what do you want to, whom are you catering to, how do they think, feel, behave, what is it that click with them, why do they buy, what is their buying journey, at what touch points are they experiencing wow moments. If you can really create certain journey maps, and we go deep into creating journey maps, how to create powerful journey maps in our customer experience mastery program, that can help you deepen your understanding about your wish list company and their ideal customers. And during the conversation, during your research, before the interviews, you will be so confident to position yourself. And that's the reason many people who've attended the masterclass with us have got job breakthrough. Their confidence was pretty high because they knew the best practices, they knew the framework, what works and what doesn't work, right? So deepening your customer understanding, and then there are various methods, there are various techniques, there are various statistical tools and techniques that we touch upon in our masterclass. You don't need to master them, but you need to be aware. Simple example is NPS, Net Promoter Score. How does it work? It's an indicator of customer loyalty and customer advocacy. So do you understand that? How does the voice of customer work? How do you listen to the customer and create powerful offerings depending on the kind of role you're getting into, whether at leadership level, middle management level, or maybe analyst, or at a frontline level? All these things are important in any of these roles. Of course, depending on the kind of role you're looking at, you need to get deeper understanding of some of these aspects more than the one. Now, the third one, any guesses what I'm going to talk about? The third one is also very critical. Let me give you a little bit of background. It's being said by many leaders, the kind of transformation we have seen in the last 2 years was expected to happen in probably 7 to 10 years. That's been the speed of transformation, especially digitization, especially owing to the speed of technology adoption and implementation. So third element is deeper understanding of technology. If you think you're a business person, if you think you're a customer facing first person, if you think you're just dealing with customers, sales, marketing, management, key account management, growing business, and you don't need to worry about technology, probably you will miss out an important aspect. You can miss out being more successful in your interviews, especially when you're wanting to transition into a new role. When I transitioned from oil industry into technology, information technology industry, I trained myself. I trained myself on basic coding. I trained myself on certain softwares to really develop understanding of how IT works. And that was super helpful, and that became the reason for me. That helped me combine my, on one side, my business understanding, on one another side, technology understanding, and together it rounded my profile, and I was able to get a good breakthrough. So if you're really looking at Again, if you let's say even moving from banking to e-commerce, what kind of technologies are deployed in a banking space, right from front end systems to back end systems to data analytics systems to engagement system, what kind of tools and technologies are involved in listening to the voice of customer. They are called as VOC tools. Study technology, look at some of the Gartner. Gartner is a consulting company which every year publishes the leaders in all categories. So for example, they will publish the top CRM softwares, top ERP softwares, and for through that you will come to know which are the best performing, most in demand technologies. Of course, Google can help you find out. I would even say if you could get grounding certification, dedicated training in one of these tools and technologies, then you will really be able to easily talk through. And even if you're not asked much questions around the technology in the interview, you will have yourself a lot of clarity as to how to drive transformation, business improvement, digitization through the use of some of these technologies. So do not undermine the importance of technology. Technology is an enabler of business change, culture change. And some of the examples, when I looked at it, like Salesforce.com, Medallia, Qualtrics, of course, these are some of the companies from the CX space. Depending on what kind of role you're looking at, identify technology. You need not master them, but be aware of them. Maybe if you can do some hands on work, of course, that could take a little longer, but that will equip you. And be careful, if you spend time learning a technology, you may not still be ready to be someone who probably is an architect of that technology. Don't make the mistake of thinking of yourself from day one that you can now implement technology. Of course, the companies which are hiring will do that filtration, but what you bring to the table, if you go from the business background into technology background, then understand that you can be a good bridge between business and technology. And if you're already coming from technology background like data science, cloud, then deepen your understanding of business and customer. I have, in some of my earlier work experience, I have seen some of our clients telling, your technical people are very strong, but your business but their business skills are not good enough, their customer centric skills are not good enough. So it depends on where you are. If you're already good in technology, you can learn new technology at the same time, understand business and understand customer. If you come from business background, for example sales marketing, like I came from sales background, then understand technology and then craft your ideal role and start looking for new opportunity. So when you want to transition, it's a function of what kind of demand is there in the market. At the same time, sometime if you are super clear, you can even reach out to people in your network and tell them, this is what I bring to the table. I had one of the senior leaders recently, almost with 30 years of experience, calling me and sharing his CV. He has been an entrepreneur and he wants to now transition back into the job. So he is focusing on certain kind of companies. So he has crafted his profile and he's talking it out to more and more people in his network, explaining them what he brings to the table and what he would like to do for rest of his remaining career years. Right. So quick recap, make sure you understand the business for which you're aiming. Maybe it's more than one business, maybe more than one kind of industry. What do they stand for? How do they grow? How do they earn profits? How do they acquire and retain customers? Then coming to customers, deepen your understanding about customers needs, aspirations, emotions. What are their ideal persona? How do they think, feel and behave? And the third thing is deepening your understanding about the technology. Technology is the enabler. What are the trending technologies? Data science is of course a common layer. Understand the role of new areas like data science, analytics, AI. Now of course there's a metaverse, but see them in context. Just don't blindly follow the technology leads, because these technologies will keep refreshing and you cannot chase them. That's what I've realized. You can never be at top of every technology trend. You will have to probably put it in context and focus on only those which helps you transition into your dream job. What do you think about it? I'm really enjoyed talking to you about these aspects. Let me just stop sharing. And yes, so um, feel free to let me know if you have any questions, or we'll be happy to even answer it later. Feel free to leave your comment, your note once you watch this um, video, and I'll be happy to hear it from you. So, with that, I start to wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you for being a great audience. Feel free to even punch in what kind of new opportunities you are seeing. Also, feel free to share where do you plan to transition, and we can share some tips and tricks even in that area. Or if you have successfully transitioned, what has worked for you, what kind of strategies helped you. Thank you very much. I look forward to connecting with you.